Hi, I'm Chase McKinney, and last time you heard from my friend Mike as he talked about some skills as we've gone through these different videos so far. And this week we're in for a treat as you hear from another friend of mine named Melissa as she talks to you about this new skill.
Hi, my name is Melissa Bucco. I'm a professional school counselor and work with primarily middle and high school students. Today, I'd like to thank you for joining our DBT group, and we are going to talk about emotional regulation. So, what is emotional regulation and why is it so important? Emotional regulation is the ability to manage your emotional responses in order to better cope with your environment, interactions with other people, and the way you are feeling inside. So why is this important? Emotional regulation helps to calm the body and the mind. It also helps to prevent regrettable behaviors. When we're working on emotions, oftentimes we are unable to keep ourselves from doing something that later on we look back and say that was not such a great choice. So this emotional regulation task actually helps you to prevent that. Emotional regulation also helps to sift through emotions and without overthinking them, and to make wise decisions based on the facts related to your situation. And with emotional regulation, we are able to meet goals more effectively, often faster, and with better results. Emotional regulation helps us to improve our self-respect. When we are able to manage our emotions and have less events that we are feeling regrettable about, we start to feel better about ourselves and feel more confident. The way that our minds work and our emotions work is we have two different pieces of our person. We have the rational mind that thinks through the different pieces of the situation, is very clear and concise. And then we have the emotional mind, which is dealing basically with our feelings and how a certain situation or a certain incident makes us feel. And then the wise mind, or the ability to make those good decisions and to both think rationally and with emotions, it's a very good balance, is called our wise mind. In order to make good decisions and to stay emotionally sound, we are able to use our wise mind. So, what are some of the emotions and what are some of the things that we know about emotions? So, emotions are not good or bad. They are necessary. And in order to understand our emotions, we have to be able to name them and to talk about them in a way that is healthy. They are not the same as behaviors. A lot of times we start to say that the way we behave is based on our emotions. And while those are reactions or responses to our emotions, they are not the same as the behavior. They are not forever. The great thing about emotions, good or bad, is that eventually it will lift and another emotion will take its place. Emotions do not have to determine our behaviors or actions. When our strong feeling comes on, if we have emotional regulation skills, we're able to turn that emotion into a calmer, more sound, and wise-minded action or behavior. Emotions are not facts. When emotions are very powerful, they feel like the truth, but the reality is that is our perception and not the truth necessarily. Emotions serve an important survival function by allowing us to see when things are dangerous, when things are scary, or help us to be able to make better judgments. So that's when the balance between the rational mind and the emotional mind becomes our wise mind. Some of our examples of emotions include anger, fear, joy, sorrow, disgust, guilt or shame, and interest. These emotions are called our primary emotions. The final emotion is surprise. So what's the difference between thoughts, emotions, events, and behaviors? When you go through the next activity with your leader, you will be talking about different particular ideas and whether or not these are thoughts, emotions, events, or behaviors. So you will need to pause the video at this time, participate with this activity as a group, and then turn the video back on. I hope that activity was really great for you guys. The next piece that we are going to be doing is the 3 jobs of emotions. So emotions play an important role in how we go through our daily life. And we have 3 main jobs of our emotions. The first one is communication. Our emotions have an effect on our bodies that help us to communicate information to one another. Whether we're happy or sad or excited or fearful, our facial expressions, the tones of voice, our posture and gestures all have an effect on our body and relay certain information to the people around us. Others are able to use these cues to tell what we're feeling, even if sometimes we are really good at trying to hide it, it still comes through. Communication comes very quickly with our emotions. So when you are surprised, your immediate reaction is, oh my goodness. So that is a very quick reaction that communicates surprise or communicates fear. A smile is a very quick facial expression that shows happiness or jest or another positive feeling. Motivation is the second job of emotions. Emotions tell us to stay focused. It tells us that we have to do something right now. Emotions tell us when something is important. Emotions also save us time in important situations. They help us to think quickly, to react, to respond in a way that could often be life-saving. Motivation, another motivation is that emotions give us strength or speed. Many people have heard about a mother being able to lift a large object off of her child because she is fearful or she is scared that she might lose her child. So that is one idea of how emotions can help motivate us. And the last job of emotions, or the last main job of emotions, is validation. Emotions can be information about situations. They can help us understand that gut instinct. They can help us to be a signal or an alarm that there is a situation that we should not put ourselves into or that we need to get out of rather quickly. Another validation is that when it's used appropriately, it can lead to, when it's used inappropriately, it can lead to a false perception of a situation. So we might fear a certain situation and it actually is quite exciting, or it is going to benefit us, where that fear could end up making us paralyzed in a situation and have us not be able to respond properly. The next activity that you will do is called naming emotions. It's important when we are naming emotions to be able to, when we have emotions, to be able to name them and understand where they are coming from. So when you're doing this activity, you're going to choose the primary emotion for each of the descriptive words. For instance, nervous might be fear. And nervous also could be disgust. So you would choose the most appropriate, which in this case, number 1 would be fear. Nervous would come from the feeling of fear. So you would choose one of those primary emotions and with your group, discuss how these 20 emotions are based off of your primary emotion. At this time, pause the video and we'll come back in just a moment. Being able to name your emotions can help you understand how to navigate through them. So this next section is called How Emotions Work. And when we are working on our emotions, we also want to understand how they work within ourselves. So this diagram, which you will receive as a handout, will show you how a prompting event or a situation that may cause a certain primary emotion, such as fear or disgust or sadness, would give you certain thoughts that you are dealing with. Those thoughts can trigger emotions, and these emotions are changes in your brain that have your body respond in a certain way. As you go through how the emotions feel and the changes that your body is experiencing, then you may actually feel different in your facial expressions, your posture, your gesturing. When you are dealing with these emotions and how they are affecting your body and how they might affect the communication that you are about to put off, you may have certain urges. Urges may be to scream, to yell, to hit, to cry, to run away. So now you have an option. You are going to follow the urge, or you're going to respond by using a coping skill. So how you choose to respond to this feeling will determine how the path follows. As you deal with your emotions and you observe and you're noticing how things are feeling, you're describing them with non-judgmental words, and maybe using some of your other wonderful skills such as breathing deeply or going to your happy or calm place, you're able to get into a different routine, and those emotions are not taking over your body, but yet you are regulating those emotions yourself. If you choose to follow that urge, there are some outcomes that might happen. So this next section, the next box is about your outcome. If you follow your urge, what will happen? If you follow another action, such as a coping skill that you have used, a positive coping skill, what would happen? And then you might experience a secondary prompting event, which may have other results. For instance, if you decide to punch someone because you are feeling angry or sad, you might get in trouble. And that trouble could lead you to more anger, or could lead you to sadness, or feeling guilty or shame for responding in that way at the beginning. Versus our coping responses could lead to having a more calm and rational conversation with the person that has wronged us, or we're able to have a more positive and see the silver lining in a situation that may have caused us some trouble. The next activity that you will do is actually going to be done on your own. This activity will go home with you, and this is called observing and describing emotions. This goes through that track of how emotions work that we just talked over, but you're able to fill out this worksheet and discuss with yourself or with your friends or with your sponsor how you're going to be able to choose the right path and noticing how those emotions are affecting your body. The final thing we're going to talk about today is a response to stay out of that emotional mind and onto that more wise mind, in that balance between the emotional and the rational mind. It is called Stay Strong. In order to stay strong, there are a few items that you can use in order to help you be out of the emotional mind and into your wise mind. S. Sleep as much as you need. That doesn't mean sleep 44 hours. It doesn't mean sleep 5 minutes. It means to sleep as much as you need. Sometimes it's tempting to just go to bed and stay in bed all day long, but that's not healthy either. Also, staying up all night and not getting sleep can be very detrimental to your emotions, as well as your thinking and your being able to interact with others. T, take medications as prescribed and take care of your physical health. If you are not physically healthy and you're not taking care of your body the way you need to, it will also respond in ways that could be out of your control or could be dangerous to others or yourself. R, resist using street drugs or alcohol. Street drugs or alcohol have a negative effect on your body that may feel good for a moment, but after time can actually be quite dangerous. So resisting those things will help you to be able to stay out of that emotional mind and use your more wise mind. O, once a day, do something that makes you feel in control, mastering your world. What are you good at? What do you enjoy doing? Do some of those things that make you feel good about you. N, nutrition. Eat in a balanced way. This does not mean eat a Snickers and have a Diet Coke. That doesn't balance. This means to use your food groups in a way that can help to nourish your body and keep you healthy versus make you sluggish or make you jittery. G, get exercise every day. This doesn't have to mean that you're training for a marathon, but if you are, more power to you. This could simply mean that you are going to go for a walk, to go get the mail every day. You're going to take your dog for a walk. You might do jumping jacks in your bedroom or do a workout video. You might be playing sports or something like that that can help you get that exercise. It doesn't mean you have to have a gym membership, but to stay active and continue moving helps you to remain in your wise mind. So, looking at the strong list, what are some areas that you think that you can improve on? How can that be helpful for your person?